hit that like button as y'all coming in. But today, guys, I'm going to be interviewing a good friend of mine, a real estate investor. He's been out in the game for quite some time, guys, and he's going to be talking about virtually wholesaling houses. He's here to drop some gems on the community today. Okay, so I hope that y'all are looking forward to it, man. Let me go ahead and bring him on. My guy, Shaun, how is it
Hey,
going,
hey,
my brother?
hey, Ed, how's it going, brother? Thanks for having me
Hey,
on again, man. It's definitely good to be back with you. Like
hey,
you were
my
saying to the
pleasure.
audience, man, we've been friends for quite some time, man. So it's always a pleasure to join you and your audience.
Hey, man. Hey, it's my pleasure to have you on, bro. Like I know you've been in the game for quite some time, but for the people out there that don't know who you are, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, my brother?
Sure thing, no problem, guys. I'm Shaun Young, like Ed was saying, guys. I was born by the river in a little tent. Just kidding. Guys, I'm Shaun Young, virtual wholesaler out of Atlanta, Georgia, author, mentor, coach. I own and operate a virtual assistant company. I love what I do, guys. I love real estate. So I'm happy to be here on the show today to give you guys as much as I can give you on virtual wholesaling so that you guys can get out there and make it happen.
Hey, all right, all right, all right, man. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. So,
Sure.
Shaun, why don't you, break down to the audience, like, how did you end up actually getting started in the wholesaling space?
Sure. Yeah, man. It was totally by accident, really. The way that I got started was I came from corporate America. I came from a sales background. I was one of the top salesmen in the company, in the country, in my company. And that, let me tell you guys, that didn't matter. Like, it sounded good on paper, nice six-figure, healthy job. But when it came to the corporate way of doing things, I was a casualty of corporate America. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I was laid off, guys, and I was at
Mm,
the top of the sales force. So none of us were safe. About 650 of us were laid off just like that. And I said, hey, you know what? I'm never gonna be in this position again. Like my
mm.
whole identity was tied to that job. And I felt like the rug was just pulled from up under me, and it wasn't anything that I had done wrong. So I said, hey, I got to figure something else out. And literally, guys, like by chance that same day, I was listening to a podcast and I heard an infomercial come on talking about someone was going to be in the Atlanta market at a hotel. And, you should come on out. It's free to come out. And they were going to be talking about real estate. So I went, and
Mm.
here I am today.
Damn, look at that. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So you say that you got laid off despite being like one of the top salesmen in the whole company, you said?
In the whole company, in the country. I was in the top. I never fell below the 3% as far as sales productivity in the company. So
Mm.
yes, guys, I was at the top, and none of that mattered. We were all out of there. Even my manager was out of there. My supervisor, the CEO was out of there. They replaced the entire CEO for North America. The
Oh
company
man.
was based overseas in Sweden, so they decided to change how they do business in North America.
Okay. Okay. Damn. Yeah, that's tragic, man. But hey, I guess everything happens for a reason, right? It must have ultimately
Indeed.
end up turning out to be a blessing for you. So, like, for the audience, then, like, what does the business look like now? You end up getting into the wholesaling space after getting laid off. I'm curious,
Sure.
like, what does it actually look like now then?
Well, guys, after that, I went and got myself a mentor, guys. I went and got myself a coach. I fumbled around with it. Let me get back to that meeting. So I went to that hotel meeting that I was telling you guys about.
Right.
And I had no clue really what wholesaling was, or I just knew that I wanted to get into real estate. So at this meeting, they gave a long speech about how you can make all kinds of money with tax liens and tax deeds and all these things that I had no clue what they were really talking about. But I knew that I wanted to get involved. So I got a severance package when I was laid off from my company. So I took $20,000 of that, guys, and went and well, they ushered us all to the back of the room and said, hey, if you want to get going, come on to the back and we'll get you signed up. We'll get you started. And if you can't afford it, we'll help you get qualified. So bottom line is they were definitely there to get us sold. I'm not going to
Right.
mention the gentleman's name, but I'll tell you this: I never met the guy whose name was being advertised as the coach or as the guru who was going to be out there helping. I never met him, never spoke with him. For a whole year's time period, I spent being a professional student, basically. Listen, the course that they gave me was so extensive. It had so many different
Mm.
sections and subsections and subsections that it was designed really, I feel, to kind of to definitely educate you on all aspects of real estate. But if you're
Mhm.
not really focused, you can get lost in that. And that's what happened to me for that year. So I want to make sure that I point that out, guys. I was literally lost, thinking about going back to corporate America. That's when I said, you know what, I'm going to give this one more shot. I'm going to actually get a coach, a
Mm.
one-on-one coach. And after doing so, guys, I made 8 phone calls. 6 of those phone calls, no one answered. The 7th phone call was a realtor. The 8th phone call was my very first deal, guys. And I made 68,000 total on that first deal. So,
Oh my
so
God.
indeed,
Oh man. You say
indeed.
on the first deal, man, that's one hell of a
First
proof of concept right there.
First deal,
Oh
right?
my
First
God.
deal. First deal. So after a year of fumbling around, almost giving up, guys, almost giving up,
Mm.
I invested just a little bit more because I knew that I knew that it was something about real estate. I just still didn't know what to do or what it was. So I heard a coach talking about wholesaling, and I said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and reach out to this guy. I like what he's talking about. He's actually a good friend of mine now. I have no problem mentioning his name. He's no longer a coach. He's actually sold that company. But his name
Mm.
was Tom Crow. That was my first mentor.
Good old
And
time.
exactly right. Good old Tom Crow, right? Bam. For those that know.
Right, right.
Indeed. So Tom
Okay,
was
okay.
my first mentor, man. And like I say, once I hit the ground, I hit the ground running, guys. And within a 30-day time period, I had 11 more deals under contract. So, yes,
30 days, 11 deals. You say you was out here making stuff happen. You
indeed,
say,
indeed,
damn, okay, okay, man. Right. And then you said that the first deal netted you like 68K on top of that.
yes,
I mean,
sir.
but man, like I'm not gonna lie, like that's a pretty crazy way to get in and whatnot. That's pretty interesting. And wait. So correct me if I'm wrong, but so you said that Tom was like kind of mentoring you throughout the process? Or
He
like
became my
early
mentor
on?
after a year into the business. Yeah, after a year
Okay.
into me trying to figure out about which direction in real estate, because as you know, there's so many avenues that one could go in. You could be a realtor, you could
Right.
be a fix and flipper, you could do subject twos, you could do creative financing. There's so many avenues one could go down,
Mhm.
and when you're new, you don't know. You just don't know what you don't know.
Big
So, like I
facts.
said, guys, I just had faith in myself, and I had faith in the fact that I knew that real estate would be my gateway to freedom. So you asked,
Mm.
where does that bring me today? So,
Right,
so
right.
guys, today, what my business looks like, I have a very healthy operating business that if we don't hit 6 figures in a month, we're upset. So I've
Mm,
got 3 businesses I own and operate. I've got a real estate business, I've got a
mm.
coaching business, and I have a virtual assistant business.
Mm. Okay. 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 Man, so I'm very, very curious then, bro. Like in terms of like the real estate business specifically, like just for the audience or whatever, I'm curious, like what type of structure like does that look like or whatever. So obviously you got you, and then I would assume obviously you got some VAs on deck or whatever. But I'm just curious, like what's your kind of business structure or whatever from you on down or whatever, like what pieces do you have in place?
Great question. Great question. Well, I'm no longer involved in the business. I've replaced myself from being involved in
Okay.
the business. But the role that I played was acquisitions and dispositions and lead generation. So
Okay,
if you
right.
guys are not aware of what that is, lead generation is the first step. It's when you go out there and you pull lists, you skip trace those lists, you put them into a dialer system or you manually dial through them until you get someone on the phone that's interested in doing business. Then you go through the
Mm,
process of getting that
mhm.
seller to get the house to get to sell you that property based upon the numbers that make sense. We use a strategy that's called a Mayo. We use a metric that's called Mayo, which is maximum
Mhm.
allowable offer. So once we negotiate that's at or below our maximum allowable offer, we get that deal under contract, and then that's what's called acquisitions. Then when you get it over to your cash buyers, that's what's called dispositions. So my
Mm.
company is structured like this. I've got 2 VAs and I've got a cold caller.
Okay.
My 2 VAs, I've actually got an assistant that manages basically the majority of my company, my
Okay.
real estate company. and she oversees all of my VAs. The VAs
Mm.
that I have on staff, I've got one VA that does nothing but cold call. I have another VA that does virtual driving for dollars, and
Okay.
she manages our text messaging database and our
Okay.
ringless voicemail database. So that's what
Mm.
our team is looking like. I have an assistant, I have two VA cold callers, and I have a team of VAs available to me should I ever
Mm.
need particular tasks or things to get done. Because
Right.
I learned a long time ago that you definitely have to hire folks to do things that you're not good at. And I wasn't good at doing all of those things all the time.
Mm, Man, yeah, you're 100% right about that, man. It's like we have to realize that we can't do it all. You know what I'm saying? And run a really, really sustainable, bigger business. You know, you can do it all like when you're just trying to get a few dollars out here, quote unquote,
Indeed.
right? But like,
Indeed.
yeah, over time we do have to kind of build that up.